Welcome everyone to another video. In this video I'm talking about how to identify some clouds, and I'm also going to talk about some familiar cloud types to keep a lookout for. As you can tell, today we're at my pond. My goldfish was just here, but he swam away. So I primarily learned from this book by National Geographic. It's called Weather of North America. It covers hail, clouds. I've mostly used the cloud section. So one thing you have to understand when it comes to clouds is that they don't fit neatly into tight groups, just like so many other things in nature. Like, even the definition of species is not very good because, why do we have duck hybrids, or why do we have Brewsters and Lawrence warblers? Aren't they not species? They're still considered species. So the neat groups that we humans sort living things into are not always correct. So even with living things, they don't fit in nice groups. But with non-living things like clouds or rocks, it's even harder. There's so many varieties, so many mixtures, so many different shapes, and even variance in color. You're never going to see the same rock twice, and you're never going to see the same cloud twice. Cloud shape. So it makes it especially difficult to identify such things. So these are the only reason we even identify rocks and clouds is just to learn about how they were created, what they mean, about where we found them. If you can identify a cloud, you can guess what sort of convection is happening in the atmosphere. It's just cool to be able to point at the sky and say, oh, that's a altostratus cloud. So I'm going to cover the three main cloud groups I've seen a lot in the past few months, so mostly in the winter. Things like cumulonimbus you probably see more in the summer, but unless you live in an open area, I doubt that you'll really see the detail, because you're going to be underneath them. So we're going to start with, there's stratus clouds, there's cirrus clouds, and there are cumulus clouds. That's just a simplification. So I'm going to start first with cirrus clouds. So this is just a regular bland cirrus clouds. As you can see, they're wispy, feather-like tufts in the air. They usually happen on summer days. I don't see them much at this time of year. And they're usually just a sign that that the higher atmosphere is cold and there are ice crystals in the atmosphere. They also occur in the fall. They can be a sign that rain or snow is on the way in a few days, but not necessarily. I don't have much experience with these. For some reason, I haven't seen these much. Lately, I've seen more of the stratus clouds, which we're going to get into in a second. So this is the cirrocumulus cloud. So it's a type of cirrus cloud with a cumulus cloud. And as you can see, it has this kind of wavy formations. And when it's combined with that's something else. So these clouds, they are always about if you put your little finger at arm's length, they're always about the width of your pinky at arm's length. So these clouds, they usually find higher than 20,000 feet. And they're not very stable. They often turn to some other cloud, like a cirrostratus cloud. So they never really stay constant for. They don't really stay in this one cloud form for a while because the atmosphere is always changing. Or they can turn to a cirrus cloud. Depends. The cloudlets, they show that convection, up and down air movement, is occurring, as in any other cloud with cumulus in their name. They usually occur in relatively warm air that's moving over cooler, denser air. So they tend to occur during warm fronts in winter, or just when there's more of a difference between warm and cold. Yeah, they usually form at a distance of maybe 500 miles or more ahead of a warm front, which is the surface boundary between warm and cold air. Cirrostratus clouds. These are also a cirrus cloud. Well, we said the cirrus at the start of their name. And they're made of ice crystals. They can form a really uniform layer of the sky. They're one of the few clouds that do that. I believe today we have cirrostratus clouds. So we covered cirrocumulus and cirrostratus. Then we have altocumulus clouds. These are little puffy, round clouds. And they kind of look a little bit like, I think, cirrocumulus clouds. But they're not wavy, they're more like bumpy. In fact, when a sky mixed with altocumulus and cirrocumulus, the one that also kind of looks like that, it's with blue and sky gaps in between, it's called a mackerel sky because it resembles fish scales. So I've seen that before. You can see there's a drawing here. So altocumulus clouds, they form in a lot of ways. And they're all kind of, and all these cumulus clouds are kind of related. Like the cirrocumulus, well, maybe not cirrostratus, but as was said here, if you watch a cirrocumulus clouds for a while, these guys are relatively unstable. If you watch one for a while, it may become a cirrostratus cloud or a cirrus cloud. So it can become any one of the cirrus clouds eventually. And this one can also morph. So they may develop from cumulus clouds that grow to an altitude where rising air slows and spreads out, or they may transform into other stratus cloud, like altostratus, nimbostratus, and stratocumulus. This type of cloud is relatively rare. It's more of a modern cloud, but I haven't seen it. It's not very common, but you can keep an eye out for it. It kind of has this weird, wavy, usually occurs around cities. This is a cloud created by mountains or large hills. This is also a rare cloud. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called mammatus clouds, which does not mean a very good thing in, I believe, Latin or Greek. Yeah. Altocumulus castellinus clouds, I haven't seen these really that much. They usually mean that, for whatever reason, warm air is able to go up high and make these kind of like little castle towers. And that means that that warns that there could be thunderstorms later in the day. Then we have stratocumulus clouds, kind of these fuzzy clouds that kind of look like those are the Bardels. Kind of look like cirrostratus clouds, but not quite. These clouds usually form over an area where air is descending into a surface high pressure area and warming. So they kind of look kind of wavy. They don't look as uniform as these other clouds. They kind of look like these other clouds. They don't have as noticeable shapes like altocumulus or the cirrocumulus clouds, but they're not as smooth as the cirrostratus clouds. I personally haven't seen them that much. I mean, I've seen them around sunsets. They make really pretty sunsets, but otherwise I really haven't seen them. Stratus clouds. This is just a basic stratus cloud. They just form these big blocks, kind of flat pancakes. I think you generally see these more in the summer. I'm not sure though. Nimbostratus clouds. These ones are infamous for creating long days where it's dark, gray. They just blanket the sky in a big layer and they cause these you know what I'm talking about, these constant drizzles, constant stable drizzles all day long. These make for very dreary days. Nimbostratus. Altostratus. Related to nimbostratus, cover the sky gray. They're always gray. If they're white, then you're looking at a cirrostratus cloud. Of course, they can be mixed though. So they're always made of ice crystals. They usually don't. They arrive ahead of storms. They usually don't cause rain, unlike their sister nimbostratus. Yeah, they usually arrive in front of their sisters nimbostratus that carry long rains. They're kind of related, but they don't usually rain. These are the characteristic clouds of summer, fair weather cumulus clouds. You generally don't see these in the winter. And then these are two clouds that are really related. They both have cumulus in their name, so this is basically the earlier stage of cumulonimbus, and this is cumulonimbus itself, which are known as thunderstorm clouds. Like this one has a chance I'm making thunderstorms, but this one is definitely going to bring you nice thunderstorms or tornadoes. This is a cloud caused by wildfires. This is usually occurs near the ocean. Never seen any of those. Those are rare. And otherwise, that's it. This can occur sometimes if you have a huge front, but it usually occurs like in areas where you can actually see it, like in the Great Plains. I'm sure it can occur in the summer when there's like really huge, or maybe even in the winter when there's really huge difference between hot and warm air, but I haven't seen one of these yet. And that's it for all the clouds. So be sure to get this pocket guide. I got it from my local library. It's really nice, handy. It's just a lot of fun to try and identify the clouds yourself. Continue watching to the end just to see me identify some of the clouds that are above me right now. The sun came out. So we're going to identify these clouds with our guide. We already know it's probably not a cumulus. So we're just going to immediately skip to this part of the book. We know it's not nimbostratus because they're not gray enough. We know it's not stratus because it doesn't really have any divides. It's likely stratocumulus because of how hairy it is, but we'll look at a few more. We know it's not this one. It's not like little minarets or little towers. We know it's not this one or this one. Not this one. I mean, the other one, and it could be, is this one. But honestly, I don't think it's smooth enough to be this one. I think earlier it was this guy. Like, when I just started filming this video about like an hour ago, maybe. But now I don't think it is anymore. And it's obviously not cirrus. This is a rare cloud that usually occurs near the poles, particularly the South Pole, where the ozone layer is not very thick. And this is cirrocumulus clouds, and we know it's not cirrocumulus cloud. To me, it kind of looks like a mix of broken up nimbostratus clouds. You can see those kind of ground gray patches, which makes sense because it was just dreary and ugly this morning. Like, it's been raining. Well, I wouldn't say it's been raining, but it's not been exactly the best weather for the past few days. It's been kind of sprinkling. I also believe there are, like, I can see the white strips there in the sky, which makes me think there are stratus clouds. Like white. Or it could be, I mean, honestly right now I'm leaning toward this being a mixture of nimbostratus and stratocumulus. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Like I said, this is not an exact science, but we can try our best and then read what these clouds mean for fun. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the next video about stargazing that should be coming out in a few days. Bye!